Welcome to this episode of DIY3DTech.com. We're going to be doing a shop talk episode here where I'm going to be talking about this new digital USB microscope and why you need one of these. So let's do a quick look at the product. Let's pull it out of the box, and then I'm going to show you a couple things. So one of the things about this is it's a USB 2.0, 60 to 250 power. It's got 4 LEDs, dimmable, this says. It's got a CMOS sensor, 1600 by 1200 snapshot, 640 by 40 video. It does work with Windows 10, Windows XP, so this is good. So it works with all my machines. So let's see what's inside the box here. So let's kind of pop this open. I've been rather interested in getting one of these for a couple different reasons. And seems like my computer is updating itself in the background, so that's the funny beep. So here's what everything looks like. Now, one of the things I am going to share is I purchased this one. It's about $35. However, I did get this one because most of the other ones I've seen, the actual microscope unit, this unit here, had to be right down on it. And I'm going to give you a little hint. One of the things I want to do is some surface mount work, and I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So I want to be able to put the surface mount component underneath there and still get a soldering iron. So we'll take a look at that in a second, but let's go see what we have in the box. So we have the unit itself, and one of the things to note is it's got a little sensitive touchpad on top here. It's like a capacitive sensitive touchpad. When you touch that, it takes a picture. Comes with a little suction cup stand, and I kind of like that idea because I can put it on various different things that I want to really watch, and this kind of screws on there, it appears. A little bit snuggly, but not bad. Then obviously this other piece goes on here. I'm really looking forward to, you notice the piece here that clips on, that's got a couple little pins here that go into recess points here. However, I think it'd be pretty easy to design up something in OpenSCAD or Tinkercad to play around with this, 3D print something, and obviously that'll be on my list. So move that aside. We don't need any instructions right now, do we? And then what we do is we have this board. Now I kind of like this board too, and it's rather matte, and I don't know if you can see this, but where the suction cup goes, it's very shiny, I think, to make a good suction fit. And then so if we put that on there, kind of hard to see in the light, we make the suction fit, that pops on there, and then what we do is we pop this in here, and those little pins hold it, and now we're ready. So it's got a quick start guide here. I think I might have to download some software, do something, so I'm going to do that, and by the magic of video, it's going to be done. Welcome back. So we've got everything set up, and I'm going to do a split screen. So over on that side, I think it's going to be that side, or maybe that side, but I think it's going to be that side. I'm going to do video because we're going to jump into the computer, and I'm going to look at the other side of this. So one of the first things that you'll see, hopefully over there, is the website that they take you to. And so you have to go to this website, and I'll put the link below. To download the drivers. And when we look at the driver page, we see that there's a good number of drivers for various OSs, and it's kind of not surprising because this isn't really anything more than a modified web camera. So again, you can see we have for Windows, Mac, Chrome OS, Linux, Android, so on. Now, one of the interesting things that I liked about this, I saw in the video, I was a little bit surprised it didn't come with, is this Otg cable. So this Otg cable is basically a USB, male USB to male micro USB adapter, the way it looks. So I had thought it came with one, but apparently not. So I'm going to order one because I do have an Android tablet, and that was one of the reasons for getting this, was to be able to use with that Android tablet. And so I didn't have to have it hooked to a computer for like when I was doing small soldering and things like that. I could use it independently. So look for that in the upcoming video. However, once you do get all that installed, you get the application here, and this is the application, and while that looks kind of scary, This is actually one of my 3D test cubes. So if you look at it underneath there, this is the inside. You can see some of the stringiness. This was done in TPU. And this is one of the main reasons that I actually got this, is I wanted to be able to take a close look at some of the prints and capture images off this to see how various filaments were printing, etc. So like for example, we have TPU, and then let's line it up with PETG. So here we have TPU and PETG. Both of these printed at 0.2. And again, you can kind of see how the various adhesion works. And then let's throw in an ABS in the mix. So you can see the ABS, you can see the interlacing with the PETG, and then as we slide through here, we can see the TPU. So I thought this would be very interesting to play around with. Also interesting to see various different pieces, because here is a camera holder I printed out, and you can see the 1/4-20 nut in there, and you can see the honeycombing and how the layers didn't quite print. This was printed quite a while ago on the DaVinci and ABS, and you can kind of see if it quits wiggling, if you see my fingernail there, how it left some residual printing. So I thought this was pretty cool. But let's take a look at a couple of other things. So because the other thing that I've been doing lately is engraving coins. And so if I take and I fix the focus on this, we can really take a look at the engraving on this coin that I've done. That failed to cut all the way through, because you can see this section here is cut through, whereas this section, the bit broke before it could cut through it. So again, I think it's pretty interesting to take a look at some of these things. And again, here's another coin in which I engraved a rocket ship on the coin. And you can see how that came out, because one of the things, if you notice, this was done on my Probotic Fireball V90, and actually for such a small bit, you can see that there's very little chatter or run out in the bit for being so small. So I'm actually a little bit impressed by its tolerances and being able to cut so small. And here's a first cut or pass at engraving, if you will. Now, one of the things, this is not only under the microscope light, but under a bunch of studio lights, so it is kind of overdriving the camera a little bit. You won't have, I think, the same experiences away from it, because I've now turned the light all the way off, and it's still pretty bright. And see, I've taken my hand out of the way from dimming it, so it does auto adjust with the light. But again, the studio lights kind of overdrive it a little bit, but you get the idea. And now this was done with a 0.1 millimeter engraving bit, and you can actually see the engraving. Now, one of the things, if you want to raise it, what you can do is raise the magnification. And I think I got to turn the light back on for this. I'm going to push it right up there. However, the closer you hold it to the lens, the tighter the magnification. And here at this level, you can actually see the spirals from the tool bit, which is really fascinating, because that is really, really tiny. And again, I'm a little bit impressed by how accurate that Probotic was in doing that. Another piece, let's take a look at some laser cut stuff, and let's go ahead and refocus it. And again, you can see the glass, and you can see the pock marks that the laser made in cutting or etching it, how it actually cracked the glass, and actually, I think, heated it up and caused bubbles to pop in it. And you can kind of see them in the glass bobble. So I thought that was interesting. And then taking a look at a piece of plastic or acrylic that was laser cut, and again, you can kind of see the fine details. And then if we really get up close, and you can really see, I'm hand holding this but you can really see how the laser, the modulation of the laser in its strokes there. So again, this is pretty interesting. Now, one of the main reasons I did get this is actually for electronics. I want to do some surface mount kits, and actually I am going to probably start another channel about building electronic kits and that kind of stuff. And so I want to do some surface mount soldering, and one of the things is I want to be able to see this. So you know, right now this is actually on a 50-inch monitor, so I can take, you know, some very small stuff, as you see here in the solder pad on this resistor, and make it very, very big so I can see it to solder it. And that was one of the ideas, is I can get a soldering iron now underneath this, where most of the other microscopes require it to be right on top. However, I have a pretty good working distance, actually, so I'll show you. So I've got that much working distance in it, so plenty to get a soldering iron under and electronics and actually do something. And so probably what I'm going to do is laser cut a new base for this, a different base, and one that I can mount the circuit boards to, because I don't want to damage this base. This is actually kind of nice to play around with. You take measurements off of it and that kind of stuff. And again, really like that. So I'm looking forward to a lot of this, and so you'll probably see this show up in a lot of other videos. And you know, because one of the things I want to do is I'm going through these videos, do something a little bit different and kind of give a little bit closer perspective on various things with split screens, time lapse, and just the whole video production. So again, I'm really hoping to use this as part of that tool set to deliver that, so we can really look close up. Because one of the things I want to do is compare various filaments with each other in the raw form. I want to compare, you know, plastic outputs. I want to compare, you know, different tools and tool pathing and those kind of things. So anyways, hey, if you found this video interesting, give it a thumbs up. I'll put a link for this below if you're interested in getting one. I highly suggest it. It's a you know, for 35 bucks, it's a great little tool, especially if your eyes are a bit older like mine. And hey, like and subscribe, because we'll have more on this coming. So cheers. See you in the next video.
Please click like below and subscribe to the channel to keep up to date on all of our projects.